They've opted to go for that Frost Death Knight and that Windwalker Monk. Gate's about to open in 4 seconds. Game number 1, series number 1 of North American Cup number 3.
So, of course, we're here on the Grand Arena. Sea-Doo, Mez, and Trill. So that's going to be the Unholy DK and the Frost sub. So right away, I'd probably give the advantage here to Method Orange just based on those specs coming out. But Swag is going to look for some type of sap onto Method Orange. There it is, the sap onto Trill. And we're going to look for some type of CC onto Sea-Doo, whether that's the Kidney into the Ring of Frost or the Kidney into the Fear. There it is, the Kidney into the Ring of Frost. Huge damage now coming out of the Mez with that Trinket. Icebound Fortitude still available, and he uses that AMS to stay alive.
Yeah, he's going to be kiting out of line of sight of Cyril. There's another sap onto Trill. Trill hasn't been able to do anything in this game. Nice control coming in from Swag with a cheap shot on the Trill. Fear over onto Sea-Doo. Mez getting lower and lower, but Sea-Doo might be able to, yeah, he's out of the CC now, so finally can get those heals over onto Mez, and now Method Orange needs to get some sort of pressure. There's an incapacitate over onto Zazul. He trinkets out of that. Now Sea-Doo gets swapped over to with the cheap shot. Mez and Trill trying to connect over onto Cyril. He's just fake casting over and over. The Trill's had enough. Blood Elf Silence Leg Sweep connects. Finally a little bit of damage, but the Archangel coming in from Zazul. He still has the Rapture, still has the Pain Suppression. Cyril should be completely fine.
And that was the Icy Vein from Cyril in the opener there, and they didn't get too many defensive cooldowns from Method Orange. There's the Paralyze coming out, and the first Ice Block from Carol being used right away. So the Method Orange peeling that opener great, and then really turning the pressure around to get some defensive cooldowns from Jay's new shoes, and that's really what's scary, right? Jay's new shoes is supposed to get a lot more cooldowns in the opener, not just a trinket from Sea-Doo or a trinket from Mez, but we want Spirit Link, we want Earthen Shield, we want some of these walls or Icebound Fortitudes in exchange for that Mage's Icy Veins.
Yeah, there's the Kidney shot into the full ring. Double ring, actually, very nicely done. Mez is all by himself, trades out the Icebound Fortitude, but can't land it onto anyone. I think that was evasion coming in from Swag. Mez had no choice but to grip in Zazul to get that heal off, but Sea-Doo's now caught into the Fear. Mez still has to kite and needs to line of sight and avoid some of this damage. That was a very nice setup coming in from Jay's new shoes.
Yeah, and that was the Icebound Fortitude, and now Mez has no trinket or any outs at all, so Jay's new shoes could potentially win this in the next go because Sea-Doo has no trinket either. But there it is, tons of damage coming out onto Carol. 40% life now. He does manage to kind of get around the pillar, get away, topping himself back up, but there's the Archangel from Zazul, and it's not really helping Carol too much. Now the Kidney shot onto Sea-Doo.
Yeah, big damage over onto Sea-Doo. Kidney shot into cheap shot. He manages to get the Astral Shift off with the Earth Shield. That's going to make him very tanky, although his HP is low. I do not think Jay's new shoes is going to be able to push through unless they can keep him low. If Sea-Doo can't get any cast off, it could be the Spirit Link out. Uses that Earthen Shield totem to, continue to make himself tanky. Carol, getting lower and lower. Incapacitate on the Zazul. This is going to be the second Ice Wall coming in from Carol, so no defensive cooldowns really available for Jay's new shoes.
Yeah, and now Method Orange only has that Spirit Link totem available. There's the full Kidney shot on the Mez and the Sheep on the Trill. Beautiful cross you see from Jay's new shoes. I'm not sure of what they can make from it, though, because Carol's about 10% life. That's the Pain Suppression from Zazul as well, so tons of pressure coming out from both sides. Carol, 20% life, barely surviving there with that Temp Shield, with that Pain Suppression, with that Life Grip from the Priest. So many defensive cooldowns now used from Jay's new shoes. They really have to turn this around.
That was such a sick port coming in from Trill, landing right on top of Carol, and he is going to be taken down with the leg sweep over onto the Priest. So
from Trill, he's been doing that the entire match, having his portal in a very offensive position, and then of course that incapacitate, and then the damage from Mez is going towards Trill with those off DR polymorphs.
Yeah, it's going to be really important to peel Trill. But this is game number 2 between Method Orange and Jay's new shoes. This is a lower bracket game. We like to start things off when the stakes are very, very high. This is do or die for Jay's new shoes. Method Orange in a very comfortable position, up 1-0, and already guaranteed qualified for the spring finals.
And as Zico was saying, Jay's new shoes really needs to focus on the triple CC, because really what was happening is every time they were doing a setup, Trill would then paralyze the Mage. Mez would maybe grip the Rogue, right? There was constant peels on the RMP side from Method Orange. So we need to see the Fear, the Polymorph, the Kidney shot land at the same time. And there it is, the Kidney shot onto Sea-Doo, the cheap shot onto Mez. There's a full ring onto Sea-Doo and the Sheep onto Mez. So it might look like Jay's new shoes actually wanting to target Trill. Not doing much here in this opener though, with a triple Fear coming out from Jay.
Trill just destroyed Swag. He incapacitated him immediately. Swag trinketed and Trill just ported. Wasn't able to get the stuns, wasn't able to get anything in that opener. So Trill really, really diffusing that. And that positioning coming in from Method Orange was very key. Allowed block, allowing that to happen. They wanted to get that double CC out onto Mez and Sea-Doo. Trill able to survive. Now Method Orange looking to get aggressive. The big damage over onto Searle as he gets lower and lower. Jay's going to respond with the Archangel and the Rapture. There's an Incapacitate. Are they going to be able to just push through? Searle needs to be able to hold on. You can't be dying through those huge defensive priest cooldowns.
Great job there from Cyril, though, not using his Ice Block even though he's at 20% life, and that was the Icy Veins from Cyril as well, really counter-pressuring Mez and Trill. The Ascendance from Sea-Doo is being used as well to try to keep his team alive, but there's still every defensive cooldown from Method Orange besides that Icebound Fortitude from Mez, so Method Orange defensively is looking fantastic, and that was already the Icy Veins, as we talked about, from Jay's new shoes, so offensively, not much happening, but there's the Paralyze into the full capstone onto Jay, and Cyril's getting very low and does trade out the Ice Block.
Yeah, Swag tried to do everything he can. Kidney shot on Trill. Now a little bit of damage over onto Mez with the full blind onto Sea-Doo. He's going to have a DR Fear. It doesn't look like Cyril's going to be able to get really much CC out of that. Mez doing a good job slowing that down, but the full Polymorph lands very nicely done by Cyril as Swag gets lower and lower as well. Mez kind of caught into the middle of the map, forced to trade out that AMZ to sort of reduce some of this damage coming in from the Priest, as well as that Mage Ebon Bolt being cast out, but really not going to do too much on the Mez, but it's actually used over on the Sea-Doo as he gets bursted down. Trinket as well as the Astral Shift is forced out. Nice swap coming in from Jay's new shoes.
Wow, so the only defensive cooldown really left for Method Orange now is that Spirit Link and the Trinket from Mez. We really want to look at this next go from the RMP. The Paralyze comes out onto Jay. Cyril's in trouble now, 40% life. Seems like he's kind of always in trouble, but has that second Ice Block back in his pocket. The thing I want to keep an eye out too is Swag still has that Smoke Bomb cooldown still available, so they could either Smoke Bomb Sea-Doo or Smoke Bomb Trill with no Trinket with that Frozen Orb from the Frost Mage and really get a huge burst setup. And there it is, the kidney shot onto Sea-Doo. What are they going to make happen with it?
Nothing, because Trill's going to incapacitate it immediately. DR cheap shot over onto Sea-Doo. Can Cyril get the Polymorph? He does manage to land it. Damage going out onto Mez. There's the Frozen Orb. Big damage. Mez does have the AMS. He does have the Trinket, so he should be fine, but he needs to make sure he doesn't pull the trigger too late. Gets out of the stuns. There's the AMS. That's going to be deflecting all of that Mage damage. Sea-Doo doesn't really have to use too much. Well, he doesn't really have anything available to use anyways, but because of the way Sea-Doo trinketed early on, Swacked is going to have that full blind available, which is going to be very important for them to actually secure a kill.
And there's the double leg sweep coming out of Jay's new shoes, double human trinket. So since Carol, Swacked, and Jay are all playing human, they have that additional trinkets to really save themselves. Carol doing a nice job blinking, casting the Ebon Bolt. There's a smoke bomb coming out from Swacked. Here it is, tons of damage now coming out on the Mez. Sea-Doo has no trinket available if there's any follow-up CC. I'm very scared for Mez right now. There's a Spirit Link dropped right before that fear. A little gap in that CC was enough time for Sea-Doo to top back his team.
Oh, that would have been such a nice setup for Jay's new shoes if they could have just kept that CC going on a Sea-Doo, but now Cyril's the one that is in trouble. Second Ice Block forced out from Mez and Trill. Jay got caught into the Incapacitate, couldn't get those heals out, and now Cyril's left in position where he doesn't have anything for quite some time. Still trying to kite away. Swack looking like he wants to get a restealth, actually vanishes out. How is he going to open up? How are they going to generate some pressure? Everyone from Method Orange is looking like they're pretty good defensively in this game, so Jay's new shoes is going to have to figure out something.
What I really like from Method Orange is that they're getting defensive cooldowns back. Now Sea-Doo with that trinket, Trill with that trinket, Sea-Doo has his wall back available. There's a ton of defensive cooldowns they can begin to rotate through, but on the side of Jay's new shoes, they're really just looking at that pain suppression from Jay. Now both healers about 20-25% mana, which probably won't play a role in this next kill or two will happen in the next minute, so I don't think the mana will play too much of a role, but Jay's new shoes really needs to make something happen. The Icy Veins is back up from Carol, and here is the full kidney shot and the polymorph onto Sea-Doo. The double cheap shots coming out of both DPS. Let's see how this play runs out.
Ebon Bolt onto Mez. AMS used as a response. Sea-Doo now caught into the full fear. Is he going to trinket out of it? Mez used that AMS. They actually managed to shred through it. He still has the Icebound Fortitude available, so Sea-Doo's very comfortable in this situation. Mez can always use that to get out of stuns and top himself off. Cyril may have overstayed his welcome in this situation, though. Mez and Trill are going to be able to put out huge damage. Incapacitate over onto Jay. Is there any follow-up onto Jay? Doesn't look like it. He's going to be able to get the shield up. A big burst still onto Cyril as he gets life gripped away. Swack just trying to stun up everybody, trying to keep his Mage alive so they can do a couple more setups. Icy Veins is available. That was a Shadow Blades coming in from Swack, but Jay's just having such a difficult time topping off Cyril in this situation. Full blind onto Sea-Doo. He immediately trinkets out, wants to keep his team aggressive. They realize they can win right here. Trill now caught into the full cheap shot. Kidney shot onto Sea-Doo. Trill does have the touch of karma, uses the fortifying brew. He's going to be fine. Now a swap over onto Sea-Doo. Jay's new shoes is running out of time.
And that was Jay's pain suppression, the last defensive cooldown for Jay's new shoes. No ice blocks, no pain suppression. Jay has a trinket, but he's running low on mana as well. There's there's the temporal shield, but the double leg sweep now coming out into Jay and Serral. Re-stun right onto the trinket. So much damage coming out from Trill and Mez. There's a kidney shot on the Trill. Kind of just a peel. Method Orange still dominating this game. Jay's new shoes really needs to turn this around. The only lifeline they really have is that Icy Veins cooldown from Serral to really get that huge one-shot. Besides that, they're done.
Yeah, Serral, he had the nicest temporal shield there. That's the reason he was able to survive that double leg sweep setup, topping himself off. Capstun over onto Jay. Trill could be in some trouble here. Still casts out the Frost Bolts. Trill runs into the Ring of Frost. Not going to be able to do too much, but a nice swap over onto Sea-Doo. Kidney shot into cheap shot. Sea-Doo had no trinket for that. That was the last thing Jay's new shoes could do.
And really keep Jay's new shoes every time they're trying to go offensive, just peel their go. If Method Orange can do that and they can live, then they'll come out ahead in this matchup.
All right, we are all tied up 1-1 with the first series of the day. Can Method Orange strike back? Go up in the series 2-1. We'll have to see how they decide to play it out. It's going to be up to Jay's new shoes to see how they open. You can see Swag sneaking in on that rogue, looking for an opener. Mez sending in his pet. That's going to put him in combat and not allowing Swag to really get a sap out. So that's why you see him use that Mark for Death kidney and the cheap shot. They got out that cross CC right away.
Yeah, and hopefully they can get a better opener than last time, because last time there was cross CC on a Sea-Doo and Mez, and Trill did a great job of just line of sighting and then paralyzing Swag, so they really couldn't make much of it. RMP openers, guys, are very, very, very critical in how the rest of the game plays out. How many defensive cooldowns are you really getting? Right away, you can see Serral just casting those Frostbolts, getting those Icicles, getting ready for one huge go, and just landing them onto Sea-Doo. Sea-Doo knows this, sitting behind the pillar, trying to play very defensive. Pre-gift of the Quinning right here, so if they open up into this, they're not really allowed to, and now Serral getting gripped in and trinkets and blinks out immediately.
Yeah, he doesn't want any part of that being line of sight of his healer, just decides to trinket, like you said, he's going to be avoiding, but that's a small victory for Method Orange. What did they commit? They committed the life grip, got Serral's trinket, and that's going to be huge for that Windwalker DK. Jay's new shoes looking to strike back. Kidney shot onto Sea-Doo. Everybody's stunned up. Can Serral get any follow-up? It doesn't look like it. You can see Jay pushing in for the Fury. He gets stunned up as well, so that's another go from Jay's new shoes that Method Orange was able to avoid quite nicely.
Jay's new shoes still has a lot of offensive cooldown, still Shadow Play, still Gorma, still Icy Veins, but it looks like Method Orange is trying to set up now. There's the leg sweep onto Serral. The trinket temp shields immediately. That's his second trinket coming out from the Mage already. So Serral next go is going to be very, very scared. That's the Archangel from Jay to top them back off, but now they're trying to get some counter pressure onto Method Orange. There's the triple stuns all over the place with that Frozen Orb from Serral. So much damage coming in onto Mez. What cooldowns will be committed? There's the Icebound, or the anti-magic shield from Mez, and the tons of CC on the Sea-Doo as well.
Yes, Serral's able to get that full polymorph. Mez still just line of sighting, trying to survive. Uses the AMS. Icebound Fortitude is going to be available, but he is playing Unholy, so he doesn't have that reset like we talked about. He's not going to be able to top himself off, so that makes it a little bit more scary for Method Orange. You can see Sea-Doo, he's actually playing Relentless this game. He didn't like the fact that he had to make that decision between trinketing blind and not having it available for those swaps, so he goes Relentless. All CC is going to be a little bit less on him, but Serral's still in trouble. There's the stun into Incapacitate onto Jay. Serral needs to be able to survive as he gets lower and lower. Mez trying to take him down with that artifact ability. Serral kites into his Ring of Frost, but still just getting interrupted by Mez from range, trying to get those heals or those polymorphs onto Sea-Doo, but Sea-Doo's positioned so nicely that I really don't feel like Serral can ever get those polymorphs unless Swag is setting him up with those kidney shots or those cheap shots.
Yeah, that was very interesting actually too. That was the smoke bomb from Swag on kind of like a defensive smoke bomb just to keep him alive. It looks like Jay's new shoes is trying to set up with that full blind and the full sap on the Sea-Doo. Mez just responds immediately with that Icebound Fortitude, and that was the Icy Veins from Serral as well. He was holding onto that all game long. He uses it. Mez trades out the Icebound Fortitude. Absolutely love that trade, just respecting that huge Frost Mage damage before it really gets out of control.
Yeah, very effective trade. Incapacitate over onto Jay. You can see him in a nice defensive position. Mez using that Asphyxiate stun. Serral gets lower and lower. There's the first Ice Block forced out with that Serenity coming in from Trill. Trill still has the touch of death though, and Jay's into the Hex. So Serral's not out of this yet. He needs to be able to get away. Kidney shot onto Sea-Doo. Cheap shot onto Mez. Serral gets interrupted though. Trill still all over him with the Fist of Fury stun. Mez gets lower and lower. He throws out the AMZ to avoid some of that damage. Grips over Serral. Trill ports back to defend Sea-Doo. Finally back on top of Serral. This Mage is having a very difficult time escaping. And there is the Gargoyle used by Mez. That's going to be increasing their damage by quite a bit.
Jay's new shoes has a slight opening here for a kill window onto Mez. Mez, no trinket, no Icebound Fortitude. Sea-Doo, obviously no trinket because he's playing Relentless. If they can get the Earth Shield off of Mez, get a huge setup onto Mez, just CC onto Sea-Doo, they could really get this kill with the next Frozen Orb from the Frost Mage, and that's kind of what we're looking out here for. Method Orange trying to peel this. Trinket still available from Trill, but Serral getting very low, and that's going to be the second Ice Block. The burst coming out from Mez and Trill is so incredible. Every time they get a little bit of CC, Serral just has to go into an Ice Block.
Yeah, it's so difficult for them. Mez playing Unholy, he has that ranged Asphyxiate, so that stun that can be followed up by the Incapacitate from Trill. That gives Method Orange very consistent CC chains where they can burst down Serral and Fist of Fist Fury Stun or a leg sweep, anything like that. Cyril blinking away, trying to get that polymorph. Does manage to land it. Now Mez could be in some trouble. No trinket, no Icebound Fortitude. Gets out. AMS going to be forced out, but Sea-Doo not out of it yet. Polymorph into fear. Mez needs to be able to escape some of this damage as he gets lower and lower. Sea-Doo finally out of the CC. Has the Spirit Link available, opting not to use it as Cyril is forced in sort of a defensive position, kiting away from Trill. Mez trying to reconnect with that Ride to Win coming in from Trill. Asphyxiate stun onto Jay. Use that human racial. Grip Cyril, but Cyril gets gripped back all over the map. Finally, Cyril able to blink away, casting out the Blizzard, just trying to snare out Method Orange. We look at mana. Sea-Doo's actually not doing too great. Method Orange can't afford to hold on much longer.
That's exactly what I was just going to point out. Sea-Doo is about 5% mana, and that's because he's been offensively purging and just healing a ton. Now the full blind coming out on the Sea-Doo and the full kidney shot onto Mez. There's not quite too much damage here from Cyril, though. No Icy Veins, no Orb, no Ebon Bolt being casted, so it looks like Mez is going to be fine. But finally, the Ebon Bolt does connect in the re-polymorph onto Sea-Doo. Mez 10% life. I'm not sure how he's going to live this one. The Mind Control coming out, but Sea-Doo, the slight gap in CC, gets a Spirit Link off once again to save Mez's life.
Yeah, Jay preemptively drops that shield in order to protect Cyril in this situation. Sea-Doo now caught into the full kidney shot. No defensive cooldowns available whatsoever. They're trying to find some damage onto him, but he manages to pre-drop that Earthen Shield Totem. Sea-Doo looking for a Hex in this situation. He has the Ascendance up. He managed to top off his team, but Method Orange really doesn't have too much in terms of defensive. Mez, actually Cyril caught in the crossfire as well. I kind of missed that. There's the Hex onto Jay. Mez and Trill were able to push through. Just going to come down to those consistent setups like we saw. Method Orange going into game number 4 is up 2-1 in the series. The gates do open. What is Jay's New Shoes going to do in this situation?
I'm a little surprised Jay's New Shoes is sticking with that Frost sub instead of switching to that Arcane Mage or the Assassination Rogue for a little bit more survivability, so the Arcane Mage could just kite around that Unholy Death Knight a little bit and just avoid those setups. I think the Arcane Mage could do a much better job surviving, but he does opt to play Frost subs. So they're really looking for these huge triple CC, Fear, Kidney Shot, Sheep setups, and here it is. There's a triple Cheap Shot, Kidney Shot setup with a full ring onto Sea-Doo. The Cheap Shot's now landing onto Mez as well. Cyril holding onto that Icy Veins as he gets peeled from Trill.
Yeah, but Jay and Cyril not able to put any pressure over onto Mez. Finally, Jay able to charge in and get that Fear. Mez getting lower and lower. Nice Ring of Frost down on Trill. This is beautiful CC coming in from Jay's New Shoes. There's the Asphyxiate Stun into Capacitate over onto Jay. Cyril gets lower and lower. He manages to get the Temporal Shield up. Opposite just Trinket out, gets gripped away. Mez grips him back though. Cyril's still not out of the woods yet. Temporal Shield topped him up, but they're just gonna push through it. Archangel heals coming in from Jay as he gets lower and lower. Can they not use that Ice Block? It's gonna be up to Jay to keep him alive with that Rapture cooldown. Now nice Smoke Bomb coming in from Jay's New Shoes as they look to strike back onto Mez.
Wow, that was incredible from Mez, not using his Trinket or Icebound Fortitude in that Smoke Bomb. So that was actually a bait from Jay's New Shoes, a bait from Swag to be like, we're gonna bomb Mez, we're gonna try to get that Trinket or try to bait out that Icebound Fortitude and then have a huge Icy Veins go when he doesn't have those defensive cooldowns. Mez knew this. Mez decided to hold on to every single defensive cooldown and survive that Smoke Bomb without really using anything. So incredible defensive play from Method Orange, holding on to their cooldowns in that situation when Smoke Bomb was used. But here's the Icy Veins from Cyril with the full polymorph on the Sea-Doo and the stuns on the Trill. He Trinket Karmas and that's going to save his life.
Yes, that was the Icy Veins though. Mez getting lower. DR polymorph on the Sea-Doo. Jay's in a good position to land that Fear. Trinket's out of the Asphyxiate. Mez in a lot of trouble. He still has the AMS, opting not to use it. He's using that Corpse Shield to survive. Sea-Doo's going to keep him alive with the Ascendance. Riptides. Big heals coming in from Sea-Doo as Sea-Doo charges in. He wants to get those offensive purges. Look at him. Just purging over and over onto Cyril. So Mez and Trill can get that offensive damage going, but Jay's in a nice position where it's difficult for Trill to land that Incapacitate. So then get that CC and get that burst damage down. Nice pet stun coming in from Mez to avoid that Ebon Bolt. Nicely done shutting down this Frost Mage.
I cannot believe the discipline from Mez on his defensive cooldowns. Look at him. Every defensive cooldown still available for Mez, and Cyril going into the Ice Block just out of nowhere. That's insane burst coming up from Method Orange, but Trill seems to be really the target of choice here. Cyril not out of the woods yet, even though we just came out of that Ice Block. 10% life, Pain Suppression being used from Jay. Couple shields catching, Shadow Men's being casted as well. Looks like he's going to be out of the woods for now, but that was kind of their stun DRs being used from Swag as well. So now Method Orange is completely on the front foot.
Yeah, there is a little time where Swag is going to have his Shadow Blades available where Trill does not have a Trinket. If they have Blind for Sea-Doo, they can maybe create an opportunity there, but Swag gets swapped to taking a little damage. Caught into the Fist of Fury stun right now Jay not in any CC. Cyril trying to poly it up, but he gets interrupted there by Mez. Nicely done stopping that CC. Now Trill and Mez looking to reconnect. Double stun goes out onto Swacked and Jay for Cyril. Cyril's going to trinket out of that. He's going to blink away to safety, but Trill still all over him. Tiger's Lust. Jay's in a very good position right now to get out those heals, though. No CC on him. Mez looking for that asphyxiate. Actually interrupts them. Here's the kidney shot line I was talking about. AMZ traded out by Mez. That is very nicely done. Trade out the AMZ for the blind to keep Trill alive in that situation where he really didn't have his trinket to get out of that setup.
Yeah, and Jay's new shoes is doing setups on the Trill, and I'm not really quite sure how I like it because Trill's gonna he has his karma back available. He has his trinket now in 5 more seconds, so they really have to change up their strategy. But at this point, defensively, they only have 1 ice block, and that's pretty much it. Method Orange looking incredible in this game. Cyril now pre-temp shielding as Jay goes into that CC. I absolutely love that, but tons of burst coming out on the Trill. And there was a slight gap in those cheap shots, so he does get that touch of karma out without actually having to commit a trinket or any other defensive cooldowns. Beautiful play by Trill, and now the stun coming out on the Cyril. Back and forth pressure now.
Yeah, Blood Elf Silence. Serenity going to be traded out by Trill. Fists of Fury as well, but Jay once again in a good position. Finally gets incapacitated by Trill. This could be the second ice block coming in from Cyril as he gets interrupted as he blinks away. Kidney shot on the Sea-Doo. Ring of Frost being cast out. Interrupt coming in over and over. This poor Mage is getting shut down on everything. Eventually lands that polymorph on the Sea-Doo. Now Trill could be in some trouble. He's cheap shot behind the pillar. Cyril not able to get out that damage. Trill decides to charge in and get aggressive in this situation. Sometimes the best defense is a good offense. He wants to keep those interrupts up, wants to keep those stuns up on the Cyril with the incapacitate on the Jay. Temporal Shield was used, but the overlap with the ice block completely necessary in that situation.
Yep, and Trill still has that trinket, still has that wall. I really don't know if Swacked and Cyril are going to be able to take down the Monk here before the end of this game. They look like they actually want to do a little setup on Sea-Doo, maybe just a little bait there to swap the Earth Shield. He does swap the Earth Shield to himself. That opens up Mez and Trill for a swap. The Icy Veins available for Cyril. This is really their last big go, and they're probably going to have to do it on Sea-Doo if they want to win, since every other Method Orange member has those defensive cooldowns still available. Swacked and Cyril on their last lifeline. The kidney shot onto Sea-Doo into that full polymorph, and that trinket comes out from Trill immediately, and he walls at 100% HP.
That's exactly what he needs to do in that situation. Ports away, relays his port. Sea-Doo now into the fear. Trill wants to get aggressive. Touch of Death committed to Cyril. He has the Serenity as well. He could wait till the last second of that Touch of Death and put out huge damage with the Serenity, but doesn't look like he's going to be able to connect and really take advantage of that cooldown. Nicely read by Jay's new shoes. That was beautiful defensive play. Polymorph now over onto Mez. Trill in a little bit of trouble. He has a touch of karma, but if they can do an all-in setup, no Icy Veins available, however, no Shadow Blades available, so I don't know if Jay's new shoes really has the damage to push through.
Yeah, and Mez has no Icebound Fortitude or Trinket, so they really get to choose Mez or Trill based on Earth Shield positioning here, and that's really what they're going to do here in this next setup. Now the full blind coming out of Sea-Doo, he's playing Relentless, so no Trinket available. The full polymorph on the Trill and the full mind control. They can't CC all of them. Who are they going to hit? Sea-Doo taking so much damage. Kidney shot with every defensive cooldown used. That's it. Sea-Doo goes down.
Goodness gracious. Cyril, no Icy Veins. Swack didn't use anything as well. They used up.
And Swack needs to make sure that he kidneys Sea-Doo at the same time so Sea-Doo can't get a dispel out, and then you flip the pressure on their head like that. So that's what we want to be seeing here if they go for Jay, if Method Orange goes for Jay.
Jay's new shoes, tournament lives on the line. Method Orange already in a very secure position for the spring finals. Obviously, they want to be earning as many points as possible, but this is do or die for Jay's new shoes if they want to have any chance of qualifying for this tournament.
Both games, Jay's new shoes have taken off of Method Orange has been a kill on Sea-Doo. So Sea-Doo is playing Trinket to try to evade that. There's the triple stuns coming out on everyone from Swack. There's that triple fear as well. Mez in a little bit of trouble with defensive cooldown. Is he going to use, this is not the Icy Veins, but he does use that AMS cooldown to save his own life.
He was right outside of that Earthen Shield Totem that Sea-Doo managed to drop there before that go. So that's unfortunate for Mez, but only really committing that AMS. Cyril didn't really use anything either. Kept the Icy Veins, like you said. Gargoyle is going to be used by Mez. Incapacitate onto Jay. Method Orange looking to get aggressive over onto Cyril. They're not committing the all-in strategy. Big burst onto Cyril as the first ice block is forced out.
And that's what I'm talking about. Method Orange burst is incredible. It's just a short paralyze, maybe a stun on the Jay, and then Cyril just dips from 90 to 10% every time. But here they're looking to turn around the pressure with the Icy Veins from Cyril. There's the triple cheap shots from Swacked once again, and that's the Icebound Fortitude now coming up from Mez and that anti-magic zone. And we know that's so important to save Sea-Doo's life later in this game. So with no Icebound, no AMZ rather from Mez, it's going to be very scary for Sea-Doo, but he still has that trinket, so Swack's going to try to bait that with a blind later in this match.
Yeah, look at Sea-Doo too. He has the Earth Shield on himself. He doesn't want himself to be a target. He needs to make sure right before they go for that CC, he switches the Earth Shield over onto Mez. Mez. Earthen Shield Totem is going to be dropped out. Blood of Silence used. Full blind onto Sea-Doo. He trinkets out. Earth Shield still on himself. Wants to keep that available. There's the Smoke Bomb, though. Big damage over onto Mez. Fear out onto Trill as well as Mez. So no CC over onto Sea-Doo. Sea-Doo should be able to heal through this damage. Zerl's in a lot of trouble. This could be his second Ice Block with a Wind Shear over onto Jay. Rapture's going to be traded out. And the Life Grip coming in from Jay. So big defensives. Archangel's available. Jay still has a lot left in his toolbox to keep his team alive. But Method Orange has some good pressure right now.
So Jay's new shoes is in a good spot right now. Sea-Doo has no trinket, Mez has no trinket or Icebound. They just have to look at that Earth Shield. If Earth Shield is on Sea-Doo, they set up on Mez. If Earth Shield's on Mez, they set up on Sea-Doo. This next big go from Jay's new shoes could really spell it out here in this game. But now Cyril getting stunned with that leg sweep. Tons of damage coming out.
There's the Hex over onto Jay. Fakes it out. That's the second Ice Block coming in from Cyril. Swag gets swapped to and deleted. Method Orange. That was beautifully done against Synergy Reborn. So this is very important for both of these teams. Both these teams need exceptional performance in this tournament if they do want to qualify. So getting eliminated at this point, completely unacceptable for both of them. And you can tell with how much practice these guys have put in that there is a lot on the line. The next up after that is going to be Sneakier Snakes versus Tilted, and then later on Fairly Caustic versus the Reject. But that was just such a new shoes. Next up we have Method Black and Synergy Reborn. It's going to be do or die for both of these teams. They get eliminated here. They are not going to the spring finals. Very, very important. Very exciting matchup. Don't go anywhere.